We're live.
Woo.
Yes, this is for this stream is 18 and up only. This is for mature audiences only.
Yeah, but it's mature in big fucking quote marks.
Yeah, immature with I am in parentheses. But this is, yes, this is a game for adults only, regardless of, like, your mental level and sophistication. As long as you are physically above that age, it's fine. Because we are dealing with a game that deals in many taboo and offensive material, such as needless profanity, ultra-violence, gore, scatological humor, sexual jokes, golden showers, possibly psychoactive substances, and most offensive of all, the British.
Excuse me, the English. Thank you.
You're right, yeah.
Remember, Scottish. Fuck you.
No, I got less beef with I got less beef with like England's neighbors and whatnot. Scotland, Ireland is whatever, but no, it's just the rest of those limey fucks, I guess, as we'd call them. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone likes the Scottish. Everyone likes the Irish. People know about the Welsh. The English are a bunch of pricks. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Oh, we're looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite games ever. I've played it multiple times. You have not actually seen it, or at least not seen like all of the game's like moments in its entirety from start to finish.
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably about 30% familiar with it. Like, I know a lot of the big jokes and references. Great and Mighty Pooh, naturally. A few other bits and pieces, but for the most part, I'm going in blind.
Absolutely. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, I was just doing double checking on my part to make sure everything is technically working as expected. Everyone's all here in the Cock and Plucker, enjoying a good night at the pub before shit goes down. Death is not looking forward to it. Also, just take like a couple of seconds to appreciate the attention to detail put into this knockoff of the Beatles, like playing their instruments in time with this MIDI track.
Yeah, although they look more like a two-tone ska band.
A little bit. Yeah, they don't have all the instruments that the Beatles do, but you could kind of make out the logo on the front of the drum. They clearly know what they were referencing.
Yeah, the logo is definitely a giveaway.
Yeah. So we're just gonna get into this straight away. New game. Let's begin. Nintendo presents, begrudgingly.
But only just.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm pretty sure only Nintendo of America was probably the only part of the company that was okay with this.
And that's only because they didn't get half the jokes.
Yeah. I mean, for fuck's sake, if I remember looking it up correctly, obviously this game never got any Japanese release, but even in Europe, Nintendo of Europe didn't publish this. I think they just let someone else do it, like THQ.
Probably, I don't know, to be...
Yeah.
Yep, big Clockwork Orange reference here.
I'm glad that you immediately picked up on that. It was especially...
It's one of my favorite movies. And funnily enough, I think this came out the same year, or round about the time, that A Clockwork Orange was allowed to be re-released in the UK, because it's been famously banned over here for about 20 years at the time.
That is some good fucking timing, I gotta say.
Yeah, same thing happened with The Exorcist. It had been famously denied certification in the UK for a long time.
Yeah. Obviously, I'd seen this intro before...
Well,
oh,
there I am.
I'll just shut up.
Conker the king. King of all the land. Who'd have thought that?
Not us.
But how did I come to this, I hear you say? And who are those strange fellows that surround my throne? I hear you also say. Well, it's a long story. Come closer, and I'll tell you. It all started yesterday. And what a day that was. It's what I call a bad fur day.
Title drop.
Conker was enjoying a bit of the old ultra-violence.
Yep. It's, obviously, as you would expect, I got familiar with this intro well before I had actually seen Clockwork Orange, so when I saw, like, the original source, I was definitely surprised by, wow, they got away with as much as they could in just mimicking that whole opening.
Yeah.
Also, here we have...
Music, the music is directly lifted from it.
Yeah.
Hi, you've reached, Barry's place. I'm not available to answer the phone, obviously. However, if you leave your, name and number and you sound cute, I may ring you back. Ciao.
I think of all the Conker characters that were originally intended for the not-adult version that this game became, Barry's whole design is, so drastically changed compared to what it was. Like, Conker's...
Yeah, she looked more like, Coco Bandicoot, if I remember.
A little bit. It's just more like you compare to Conker, and it's like his original design, he just had just a simple vest that was blue on the front, yellow in the back. It's the exact same thing that was used for Diddy Kong Racing. But here is with Barry, she was about the same size, was a brunette, and then it's as they were adjusting this, they were someone, I guess, just watched Space Jam and saw Lola Bunny, and were oh!
We've got to up our game.
Yeah. It was probably someone's decision at the expense of them being ousted for a furry, I'm not sure. Because this was 2001, this would have still been back in the time, before furries kind of stopped being, the be-all, end-all of, subculture punching bags.
I think it was probably round about the start of it, actually.
Makes sense, yeah. Because after this, it would have been, yeah, we would have had Space Jam with Lola Bunny, the Disney Robin Hood movie.
Yeah, pretty much every cartoon of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, very much. Yep, this is how all good stories start. With a drunken squirrel. Which direction would you pick in this instance?
Wherever has somewhere nice and soft to lie on.
Naughty it is, then.
Works for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a love hotel at the end of it. Those have beds.
No, I mean, wouldn't want to sleep on one.
Fair. Fair enough.
Not unless it's covered in plastic wrap. I know what goes on.
Get some of those heart-shaped pillows as well at the same time. Make you feel like that you have something of value.
Just sitting there like, I feel pretty.
More milk.
Then you realize that the side that says yes is facing towards whoever walks in, and you're like, oh no.
Well, mistakes have been made.
There's a sex joke in here somewhere. Can't quite put my finger on it. Something to do with milk? White stuff?
Third leg?
Who can know?
I do not like those motions he's making.
Oh. That poor weasel. The next day...
Oh no. It's gonna be one of those days.
Oh, you know it, buddy. First moment of actual gameplay. Slow walking because of a hangover.
Yeah, doesn't the game like deliberately start swerving you to the left and the right as well?
No, it doesn't actually do that. Weirdly enough, you can actually get in the water and swim, but the hangover also affects this because it's like it doesn't, it makes it very hard to swim against the current of this river. So you basically have to just walk around like normal.
I don't feel so good. I feel sick.
Yeah, Conker just complaining how much his head feels like it's been shoved up a badger's ass. I think very rarely there's an animation that can proc where he just throws up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I don't recall ever seeing it happen during this particular instance. Oh, here's a great supporting character right here.
Who are you?
Oh, hello. Can you help me? I need to get home and go to bed because I don't feel very well at all.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, so you can't help me at all?
Actually, yes, I can. Maybe.
Okay. What's your name?
Beardy.
Beardy? You haven't got a beard.
No. Beardy.
This is the first of several characters and jokes that are specifically tied to employees at Rare at the time,
Help me.
because the Conker team was very fond of, like,
Step over here.
of just coming up with stuff that was designed to take the piss out of people they knew. In this case, I guess it's less taking the piss out of, more just, like, appreciating the weirdness of the person that was, I think, the network administrator at Rare at the time. His real name, I do not know, because everyone just called him Beardy.
Press B.
Press B.
Oh,
I imagine his name was probably something like Chris Beard or Chris Baird.
Ding, nice. That's ding.
Hey, it's that ting.
No, ding. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's not that other ting.
That-
Not the ting that Peter Potamus sent you, you know?
Oh, that thing that he sent me.
Yeah. Or maybe he did. Maybe the ting he sent us was the light bulb. The inspiration.
I don't get it.
Neither do I.
So, what does that mean?
It means context sensitive. It's sensitive to context.
It means a get out of jail free card for gameplay.
Okay.
It's also about as sensitive as this game's ever gonna get.
Yeah. So the reason this guy was called is based on a guy called Beardy is because he had a massive beard. The helium bit the helium bit is also a reference to something that, like, he would do at parties where he would suck the helium out of balloons and do funny voices, because most of these characters, their voices are all done by the same guy. They're done by the director of this game, Chris Seaver, and they're so wildly varied that they basically are, in the case of Birdie, like him just doing an impersonation of this guy and his interactions with them, and just how absolutely eccentric and weird he was. Like, for some reason, in my head, I'm just imagining Beardy at Rare looking like if Alan Moore was a game developer. And possibly twice as eccentric.
And A, Alan Moore already looks like a game developer, and B, is pretty eccentric.
Exactly. So you can imagine just how riotous that would have been. Also, if you didn't hear it the first time, first censor bleep of the game, you could just keep doing that repeatedly to him. He won't wake up. He won't retaliate. He'll just keep telling you to fuck off.
Why is it that things like that being censored are funnier than not?
Yeah. I think it works if you have specific rules to do it on certain things and not literally every big swear, which is the big sin that the game's remake on Xbox actually commits.
Yeah, it was mostly, or almost entirely uncensored, wasn't it?
Yeah, like, pretty much everything that wasn't a minor swear like ass or damn got the censor bleeps.
If for whatever reason you want to skip all these wonderful cutscenes, then just press the L button. But you will have to have watched them at least once.
Don't worry, knowing how hard this game gets at times, I'll only be pressing that button if we have to replay something multiple times. Oh well. It'll be a couple weeks before we get to the war chapter, and then you'll understand.
Yeah, I was going to say, even I know the war chapter's pretty infamous.
Unfortunately, I missed something because I jumped a bit too far ahead, but as an extra attention to detail with this is that, after this thought bubble, this is where you get the ability to do like a little hover jump with his tail, where he spins it, kind of like Tails in Sonic. But before that, if you were to press jump again while you're in the water, you do like a dive back into it. They wrote a specific code and animation, for instance, where it's like, if you do a dive when you're still in water, but you move just far enough that you are over solid land, Conker will just bonk his head on the ground. This game has absurd attention to detail, which is part of why I love it, combined with the fact that it is pushing things on the N64 harder than most other games do.
Yeah, I remember when Shadow Man came out and everyone was like, this is it. This is the game that proves that Nintendo isn't just for kids anymore. And then, like, 6 months later, this was announced and they were like, oh no.
Yeah. Also,
Why would you do this?
Also, we've got admittedly highly compressed but still audible MP3 like speech files for all these characters. It takes up 3/4 of a 64 megabyte ROM file. No wonder this game is expensive as fuck.
Yep. Ridiculously large for an N64 title, as I recall.
Yeah, it was literally the largest size that could be afforded for an N64 game. Like, very few other games actually had that. I'm pretty sure it was like, I think the only other one that comes to mind was Resident Evil 2. And that was already like a mind-boggling, like, port job that managed to work way better than anyone ever expected it to.
Yeah, I remember reading about it at the time, that they were expecting to have to cut out big chunks of the game, or possibly even sell it as two separate titles.
Yeah.
And somehow they managed to get everything working more or less on a par with the PS1 version.
True. Yeah.
I think the sound is a little bit compressed, a bit crunchy by comparison.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Pretty much a technical marvel.
Yeah, like, compression on, like, speech in audio is always going to be, like, you take some amount of hit when you're on an N64 cartridge.
Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, if anything has to go, sound is probably the most reasonable one.
Yeah, just like cut out the speech, cut out the CD quality music, straight MIDI.
Are you sure
This
you got
meanwhile is like, oh, we're keeping all the voice, but we're still going to be doing all the music in MIDI because we can do all kinds of really impressive channel fades and whatnot. You know, stuff that CD audio at the time couldn't afford.
And, you know, like, as long as it doesn't sound too egregious, downsized audio still sounds fine.
Absolutely. And it still sounds pretty good in this game as well. Though there are moments when you listen to certain, like, certain speech, like, audio, especially from Conker, where it feels like there were probably some moments when they were recording lines that they just did not have, like, the same recording conditions, or, like, compression went way harder than normal, and that, like, it sounds a bit different at times. But it's so sporadic when that shows up that it doesn't really register. So we got through the hardest platforming challenge of this entire game, going up this spiral, opening a door, unlocking the ability to use a frying pan, and then do this.
The frying pan, I'm fairly certain, is a reference to comedians Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. One of their shows, they would have long running gags where they would beat each other with frying pans with comedy clangs.
Yeah, the clang was pretty much like... I feel I could guarantee you that was, like, the big reason why they went with that as opposed to any other melee weapon, because the clang of something metal, like a frying pan, hitting something has good comedic value.
Oh, yeah.
Oop, it's okay, I did not fall all the way to the bottom. Thing is,
also, no fall damage.
Not yet. This opening section is generous in that regard, thankfully, because, this game likes to be very Euro platformer on you at times, where it's like, oh, you just fell, like, 2 character heights? Okay, maybe not dead, but you'll definitely feel like you're dead.
You're gonna wish you were.
Yeah.
Plunger with dynamite. I think I know what's gonna happen now. Yep, fantastic. Let's go and get some shut-eye. Finally.
I love the context-sensitive actions. They are such a good, it's obviously not calling it out in a way that's, like, clear and unsubtle, but you can tell it's just them doing a big fuck you to how Rare had been doing a lot of, like, their game design, especially in, like, platformers or whatever, where it's like, oh, you need to find a specific item or the specific move to access this particular thing, and it's like, no, fuck it, just press B.
Oh, yeah. Even at the time, I kind of assumed that this was a response to the fact that they'd essentially been putting out the same game for, 6 years at this point?
Yeah. And it had gotten exceptionally bad in '99 with DK64 and Jet Force Gemini.
Yeah, and you could kind of feel there was a sense of frustration that they, just because they had gotten themselves into kind of a niche.
Yeah, and their game was taking so much longer than literally everyone else was in the genre.
Yeah, wasn't it originally supposed to come out close to the launch date?
It was supposed to be, like, I think earliest they were hoping was probably 97, if not 98. Thing is, 98 was when Banjo-Kazooie came out, and it was, I think, a good few months before their expected release date. Then they saw how well that did, and we were like, oh, shit. Oh, no, not the duct tape.
Wait, no. I don't want you to get the duct tape out again.
What does the duct tape get used for? You'll just have to guess.
I've seen the 40-year-old virgin. I know how much that looks, how painful that can get.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, poor professor. Poor professor with a name that is not mentioned in game, but is known and probably super offensive to certain circles in the UK. It has to do with the fact that he has no legs.
I can probably guess where that's going, and I think it's probably best we do not say anything about that.
Fair. Chris had already said it when he did, like, his incomplete developer commentary, like, playthrough of this game years and years ago. And even him was just laughing at the whole thing, where it's like, that fucking name, could you come up with anything, like, even more, like, even less PC than that? So here's something interesting. If I'm just gonna keep like iterating on like fun developer facts about like this game's creation, this scenario that we're getting into right now is actually the first thing they made that solidified what the design of Bad Fur Day was gonna be. Like, it was basically, you could say like it was the then equivalent of what we call a vertical slice, and just showed to like the higher ups, the stampers at the time, and they were essentially like, that's good, do more of that. We gotta go and get back the hive for the queen bee because it was stolen by the wasps, because they're dicks.
Okay, so far, so Banjo-Kazooie.
Exactly. And hopefully we'll get a reward out of it somehow. Hey look, there it is right now. The tiptoeing doesn't actually affect anything. It's just fun to do.
Dun 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 dun.
Yep. Ah shit, here they come.
Hey, some wise guy's trying to steal our nice new hive.
Come on, Bob. Let's go get him.
Yeah, let's get him.
Oh, quick, Conker, run your ass out of there, boy.
Suddenly it's a crossover with Buck Bumble.
Yeah. Oh god, that theme would take a whole other meaning if it was playing during this fucking chase. Because look at them, like the stingers are landing like, no, I'm pretty sure just like a full foot to foot and a half away from his ass.
Yep.
Like, imagine this being the threat you have to deal with at like an early challenge of a fucking game. Alright, here it comes. Here's the payoff. Along with a very important character detail about Conker himself. He does not swear.
He would be about the only one who doesn't, man.
Yeah. Admittedly, I think he still says ass on occasion or so, but again, that's like the most minor of like choice words you could go with.
Thank you, Mr. Squirrel. And none of this would have happened if it weren't for that no-good husband of mine. He's gone off, you know, with another woman.
Oh, really? That doesn't surprise me.
What?
Nothing.
He's still rude, though.
As a reward for your good service,
He's a bit lacking in tact in some ways.
with this.
But you could definitely describe him as a guy that at least tries to be as polite as he can, but still finds ways to fuck things up for others. Oh yeah. Money, money.
Yeah. Cash. Prizes.
A whole $100, in fact. Like, look at that.
I mean, it's more than I've got in my bank account right now.
Yeah. It's more than I have in my wallet. Which is to say I only have 0, because who carries paper money anymore? Well, aside from, I guess, certain scenarios, like I guess if you were at a yard sale or something.
Yeah. Actually kind of bit me in the ass the other day, because I was going down to get my hair cut. Thing is, most barbers in the UK only take cash.
Really?
And, yeah, and I don't take my wallet with me if I'm just going down to, you know, just do stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I've made a mistake.
I cannot believe I got that camera angle so perfectly that he kicked the can straight at it.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah, this is basically the best chance I have to show off, like, example 369 of, like, of this game's attention to detail. They made fucking 15 idle animations for this motherfucker.
Okay, that is genuinely impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we know. But I'm just waiting on you to do one particular thing, though. Because there's all kinds of crazy stuff he does. Like, there's the bit where he sits down again. Yeah, there it is. He'll actually whistle along to the overworld theme.
Does that change based on the level or the area?
I believe it does, but the thing is, though, it's like a good portion of these areas that are directly adjacent to Windy Hill, which is where we are right now, they use like variations of this theme. Because the game's sound designer, Robin Beanland, Ginger Bastard, as Chris would call him, was I could tell, very proud of just how many MIDI channels he was able to layer into all these different tracks and have them sync to, like, all kinds of details in the game. Okay, but this particular animation I'm wanting him to do is take it a lot longer. Maybe I'm not facing the right way. Whatever. Well, the particular animation I was wanting is one that only happens if he's in an area like this, or mostly here, but I guess there's some others where there's like butterflies around. And it's like, if the butterflies are still swarming around, one of his idle animations will be he just pulls out an aerosol can with like a match or whatever, and then just like flamethrowers the fucking things. It only works if there are butterflies.
Wow.
Yeah. Also Killer Instinct on the Game Boy.
Oh, of course.
A game that Robin also worked on. It's interesting if you look at the history of like which developers work on which games at Rare during this period, like what projects they went on to. There's like a good number of Killer Instinct devs that went on specifically to do Conker. Ah, the Beatles.
Alright, calm down.
Okay, then, yeah.
Their old dialect is fucking amazing.
Bit Scouse-like, yeah?
This is another reason I am so glad I have you on for this. You're actually able to pinpoint, I guess, more exactly like what the fuck they're referencing, as far as like, okay, what part of the Isles are they on?
Yeah, the Scouse Liverpudlian sort of accent is stereotypically in UK media, bit thick, bit lazy.
How much?
You know, likes causing a bit of trouble.
What?
Mepsi Pax, another reference to Beardy, he basically subsisted entirely on Pepsi Max.
Oh, I would get along with them perfectly then. That and energy drinks, and I'm away to the races.
Yeah.
Just replace all that stupid liquid in my body with caffeine and Pepsi Max.
A simple manual that says what to do. Also, nice thing about the money. When we have to pay money as part of a cutscene, Conker always gets it back somehow. Which basically is another example of this game taking the piss out of, like, what Rare's, like, platformer game design had been up to this point. Like, money is the core collectible. Like, it's obviously something that you get, and you need a certain amount in order to access certain parts of the game. But it's not treated as actual money would be in other games where it's like, oh, you spend it, now it's gone. It's like,
yeah,
it's like, no, you get money, it stays with you, you don't need to get anything else specifically. Fuck your golden bananas.
Oh, banana.
Kong, Kong, Donkey Kong.
To skip it, just press B.
Yeah. A slingshot if you were to look at it.
Use control stick to aim.
Although it would be funny if he just whipped out like a giant medieval catapult out of his pocket that just enlarged to be like way bigger than he actually was.
Yeah, calling a slingshot a catapult is a very British thing.
I'm not surprised. And despite all these British things, they still have to pronounce Z as Z, because that's what Nintendo says.
Yeah, not Z.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't really know anyone that says Z over Z, so...
Yeah. But then, it's the sort of thing where it's like... I just think it again to, like, Chris's whole comment about it, where it's like the American people cannot pronounce Z as Z, and they cannot spell color. And somehow that's our fucking problem. Okay. Huh. Okay. No, I was eyeing the OBS stats again for whatever reason. Just the... It's weird how, like, the frame drop situation I'm running into is finding new ways to be different every time. I'm getting not really any, like, drops on, like, the encoding and rendering side, but, like, my bitrate on the connection is, like, fluctuating wildly, so it's probably showing up poorly on the network side of things. But that's fine, because I have the local recording anyway, which means once this goes up on YouTube, it'll look way better than it actually does on Twitch.
Yeah. It's always fun when that happens, never the same fuck up twice.
True. It's all a new challenge in exchange for significantly more modern hardware than I had been dealing with since I started streaming. Hell, ever since I started doing Let's Plays, for that matter.
Yeah.
That freaking Elgato lasted me for so many years. And I bought it, like, I bought the version of the card that was already, like, 3 years older than when I got it. It was ancient, man.
Yeah. I don't know anyone, like, in all the years I've been doing guest stuff on streams and LPs with other people, I have not known anyone who has had any streaming equipment that is, like, younger than 3 years old.
Yeah.
Everyone is working with old, knackered, second-hand equipment.
That's how you always start, man. Yeah,
Yep.
you can't just dump all your savings onto a hobby that you don't know if you want to stick with.
I see the problem. Oh, and the silver.
I love this joke. Just this whole bit that it requires, like, a super genius professor in the employ of a monarch to figure out a simple structural issue in a goddamn end table. Like interviews for this game, Chris had described, when having to answer the question of what the plot of this game is, they described the plot as, quote, groundbreakingly trivial. And I think for a game where it's hinging so much of its entertainment on being comedy, that's, like, the best direction you could go with.
Yeah, I remember when this came out, like, a lot of game magazines at the time were like, yeah, this is a funny game. By which we mean it's, like, actual comedy, not, oh, they said something once which made me smile. This is a game... Like, they were shocked that games could be funny.
Yeah. And it's especially funny, too, because, like, I think... like, some previews kind of took the initial response from, like, them describing it to thinking that they were, like, that was the extent of the comedy and they were just being, like, facetious. But it's like, no, we actually mean it. The whole game is like this. It's about a dumbass cat as a king trying to figure out a solution so that he no longer spills his milk. Spills his milk. That's what the euphemism was. I knew there was a sex joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, really, this game is just a vehicle for movie references and poop jokes.
Yeah. And British slang.
And that's where Hideo Kojima has been going wrong all this time. In this TED Talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we, I don't think we got, like, 2 hours to, like, fill for that, so we're just gonna let the rest of the game speak for itself. Which, speaking of, on that front, I am so glad that we decided to do this, because this means this stream playthrough has the highest chance of getting, like, a supercut. Because the game is basically doing 50% of the heavy lifting on being funny for us. This is not a guarantee, by the way, that there is going to be a supercut. do not expect this from me. I am a lazy bastard.
Also, no guarantee that either of us are ever going to be funny.
That too.
A vehicle for movie references, poop jokes, and Britishisms. It's all I want from video games. Why couldn't Detroit have been like that?
Yeah, that would have been a good step up if Quantic Dream was actually British and not French. Also, hi Ben. Hope your day's going well.
Couldn't have been like that because David Cage is a hack.
That too. Hence why I said British, because that would entirely write David Cage out of the equation.
Yeah. Because he has never done anything good except maybe that time he worked with David Bowie. And I'm not entirely convinced that wasn't responsible for his death like 20 years later.
Yeah, like it just imparted some manner of horrible, like, long-lasting curse.
Yeah, like, up until that point, David Bowie was a perfect, beautiful immortal, and then he met David Cage and it all went wrong.
Yeah. Hello, Venomous. Glad you enjoy some
Hello.
Conker. I'd certainly do. Yeah, just, what a gem of a game. And a game that's, like, not only, like, is so great, but it is so great that it could never have been made the way it was outside of its time period.
Yeah, this is definitely... It's a time capsule in the best way.
Yes.
Like, a lot of games, like, you know, pretty much every third-person shooter on the 360, for example, you look at that and you're like, yes, that is from a very specific time when every game had 2 weapons and was brown.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like... This is like that, but kind of in the opposite way, where it has that sort of unbridled creativity that you just couldn't get away with a big title these days.
Yeah, just creativity combined with, like, right time and place as far as, like, just circumstances surrounding them that force them to go this way. Like,
yeah.
Because it's the sort of thing where, obviously, I think it'll be a bit more clear, I think, the further in we get... Live and Reloaded missed that whole N64 aesthetic. Yeah, it's the weird thing where I think the only part of Live and Reloaded's updated visuals that held up was the first shaders. Everything else outside of that felt a lot like... You know those fucking, like, Unreal 4, like, test videos that people were making where it was like, I recreated, like, 3D Mario games or Sonic in Unreal Engine 4. Nintendo,
Yeah.
hire this man. And then Sega took it way too literally, and that's how we got Sonic Frontiers. It's like that. The only thing that looked legitimately good and could have, like, added to the aesthetic was the first shaders, because it's like, how many games from that particular generation could you think of where they bothered to make the fur on animal creatures look like actual fur? I think only Rare comes to mind, because it was that game, and it was Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube.
Yeah, I remember when Live and Reloaded came out, people were like, this is the most complex fur patterns we've seen since Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, but then you had on top of that way too much motion blur, vignetting, depth of field. Like, every effect that they could stack, which I'm sure looked impressive enough to people at the time that are just all in on more graphics.
Also, I had no idea that mice were made of pomegranates. I learned something today.
Yeah, blood effects have that kind of juicy looking quality to them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Squirrel.
Pomegranates or blood oranges, I'm not quite sure which.
Yeah. Anyway, we got rid of the mouse, and we have saved Foghorn Leghorn from a lifetime of back problems. Because he absolutely just talks like him.
Also, the tail and the ribcage kind of look like a facehugger from Alien.
Yeah. Don't think about it too much.
That's probably nothing.
And look at that! More money! Coincidentally, right after we completed the task.
Huh.
You can see where the core design is.
Yeah. I think
Absolutely. I would not call Star Fox Adventures a good game. Dinosaur Planet, if it had come out originally like it was supposed to, would have been marginally better, I'm pretty sure. At the very least, it would be less confused about its own identity.
wasn't there a leak recently of the beta version of Dinosaur Planet?
Yeah, like over a year ago was when it dropped,
okay.
which was kind of a weird one, just because like getting to something a bit personal. Like the day that leaked was also the day that like hours later my brother-in-law had passed from COVID. So it was a weird whiplash on that particular day.
It's like, oh, cool, that's the thing that I've been wanting to see for 20 years. Just would have been better any other day.
Yeah. So, like, I didn't, pay as much attention to it until, like, days later, just because of the timing.
That's fair.
Yeah, but even after looking through it again, and especially finding that, as you might expect, there are dedicated fans out there that have been digging through all the data and actually trying to reverse engineer some ways to kind of fix, like, script triggers and whatnot to make it more of, like, a playable game, as it were.
Yeah.
Which is, like, if someone manages to, like, make a 100% complete game out of that, that would be, like, the biggest flex.
Yeah, I think primarily people are interested in getting Duke Nukem Forever, the betas of that came out. Get those up and running.
Hold on. Oh, fuckers. Freaking bots.
I'm a paint pot anyway. I'm a paint pot. Quick kick his ass.
Trying to remember, like, what the fuck do I do to, like, delete specific commands or whatnot?
Are you sitting in mod view?
Yeah, trying to recall. Hold on, because trying to, like, just go back through all these fucking settings in OBS for, like, the chat window.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna take the nuclear option until I kind of figure out the better features.
Fair.
Just clear the whole chat. Unfortunately, that does not get rid of the ones that are already recorded on the game feed itself and whatnot. Which to that, I have to say, yeah, fuck you assholes.
Before this goes up, just blur it. Cut all this big chunk out.
Yeah, but that's extra effort. Whatever. Oh, that's fine though. People can just just keep those chat messages coming so that it scrolls up, and we can forget this ever happened.
No, I'm from the 21st century.
All right, here it is. Good old Frankie.
I'm gonna stick my big fork right in yours.
Were your parents related, like before they were married?
Right. That's it.
Fun fact, I actually used that as a comeback towards someone in school that was, like, incredibly annoying, and I did not get in trouble for it. Only because I think it was like he did not immediately catch on to what it was. It took until someone else that heard me say it was like, dude, did you just literally make a joke about him being inbred? And I'm like, oh,
there's
man.
a joke. There's a brand of bread over here called Mother's Pride. And common line is more inbred than a loaf of Mother's Pride.
Oh, look at him move his little legs. His little pitchfork legs. Of which there are only two. Yeah, no, I'm from the 21st century is a pretty good comeback as well. Works pretty well too, since this game did ultimately come out in 2001.
Stupid bastard. Isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he sure is. So,
oh, look at these assholes putting down their, quote, friend.
We got a rope right here. We got a rope.
Yeah, we got a rope. There you go.
Something very wrong about the rednecks having a noose pre-prepared.
Yeah.
Like, that just seems like...
Like, you think that's bad? There's an even worse joke related to this that is actually one of the very few things that this game actually had to have cuts. I'll explain it once we get to it. But it's as hilarious as it is, like, understandably uncomfortable.
You stupid bastard ain't gonna nag, are you? He ain't gonna nag, is he?
I already said that. Shut up.
Okay.
I don't believe this.
The Brush has that perfect, like, lame crony energy where he has nothing original about him.
Yeah, it seems like there's always at least one. Like, do you remember the old, like Tom and Jerry cartoons with the big dog and the little dog?
Yeah,
Little dog
yeah,
goes,
Spike.
Yeah, go kick his ass, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there always seems to be at least one character like that in every group
Mm-hmm.
in the game.
The eyes follow you. I don't like it.
That, ugh.
Hey, that bee looks familiar. Didn't we hear about him?
Hey, it's that bee.
Yeah. Alright. Let's check outside, see what happened. Hmm.
So, my nemesis is defeated.
The one thing they fear.
A wig?
Yes, it's me again. Right.
Oh, here's a good line.
To wander around aimlessly.
Boof. Boof.
Not sure if it's a coincidence or not, but there used to be a wrestler in the 80s in Britain called Giant Haystacks.
Could be possible.
Possibly a coincidence, but it fits the same kind of age group / era.
Yeah. I just know that that particular haystack creature is another one of those instances in which it is the team, like, taking the piss out of someone they know at Rare.
What do you want?
Specifically, a person known as Andrew Betts. Or Betsy. Or Buff Betts.
Yeah.
Which, to this day, of all, like, the stories that, like, former Conker's Bad Fur Day devs have, like, talked about of these kind of jokes, I think that's the one that they have been sworn to never elaborate on any further, as far as why that dude was called
Anyway,
Buff
I gotta
Betts.
go now.
That means it's probably either really dark or really embarrassing.
Yeah, probably both.
The big one.
Yeah.
Slightly leaning
I
towards
mean,
the latter, because, I mean... Because these British fucks have just, like, they would not have gotten away with the amount of jokes they crammed into this game if the majority of people they knew weren't, like, on good terms with them.
What do you
Yeah.
Even the people at Nintendo of America, who ostensibly had to make sure a lot of this shit was approved.
Hang on a second. Breast. She's a sunflower.
Oh man, this part.
Oh, everyone knows this part.
Everyone knows it so well that Chris Seaver feels regret over it.
You gotta help me out, buddy. I don't know
Yeah,
what I'm gonna do.
rumor has it to this day he still receives fan art of her.
Cash?
Oh, thanks for that, Ben. I'll be sure to take a look at this when the stream's done. Just because you know me, I'm always one to try and keep pace with what I set out to do.
Yeah.
So there we go. We managed to coax this bee, who's apparently a bum, to give us cash as a reward for this, even though he claimed to need money. Using the term sus, years and years before everyone else used it for a different
There's
context.
a guy over there, he said he wants
Fucking
to
Zoomers.
stigma? Not quite sure. Pollinate you? Sounds a bit strange. But
Go away. Ooh, that big tail of yours is far too tickly.
no, you don't understand.
That's not
Hey,
Chris Seaver. He's clearly not voicing this flower.
Go away from me.
I don't know, he is a master of 1,000 voices.
Be like
True.
that.
But I would say that, like, the few female characters he does voice give off, like a bit more of, like, those, like, Monty Python, like the crew in drag energy. You know, like, that kind of impression.
Yeah.
You know why, Wrath. This game's great. Fuck you. For context, if you may not know, Wrath, a good buddy of mine, appreciator of plenty of games that we have in common.
Tickly bee.
I like a lot more of Rare's games than he does.
And you only like tickle bee.
I understand his reasoning, though.
Ticklish flower.
But,
Like
but I obviously like this.
I think
Oh yeah, Barry's VA is like, her VA was one of the game's animators. Louise O'Connor, I think she goes by now. She was, she wasn't married at the time, so, like, if you look at the credits, it's Louise Ridgway. But, Rare Replay had, like, making of features that explained this, and, the idea was that she was told to try and give Barry an American accent, even though she had never been anywhere, like, outside of the UK. Like, she had lived in Dublin all her life before moving to Twycross. So her idea of an American accent was to go, she'll just add intermittently between every few words. Like it's it's a fucking
goes full Valley Girl.
Exactly. And that too is a moment where she looks back and is like, oh god, I'm embarrassed by this.
It's ironic though, because Louise O'Connor is more Irish than her maiden name.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, so she is the while Chris voices the majority of of characters in this game, like specific female characters where it would have been distracting if Chris tried to impersonate them, were voiced by her. And then there is one specific character we all know that is voiced by a programmer also named Chris. And you can obviously guess which one that is, because he's a very famous character.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, like, every third person that worked for Rare was called Chris.
Yeah.
It seems like there was a lot of them.
Yeah, there's Chris Seaver, Chris Marlowe, who's the programmer that does the voice in this game, Chris Stamper of the Stamper Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely plenty of people there. Chris Marlowe, I think, actually does still work at Rare of all things, even though, yeah, like, one of the few from this game that's still sticking around there. Oh god, that's a hell of a scene to have someone walk into, Raph. Yeah, this is all the more reason why I specify in the stream title 18 and up. We gotta deliver bees that do not sting but tickle in order to tickle this big-breasted flower. There are multiple layers of fetishes to this, and I do not need to elaborate further.
Yeah, this ruined / enhanced someone's day as a youth.
Yeah. Especially once we get to, like, the fucking payoff to this whole joke. It's the final line where, like, when I hear that, I am like, yeah, it's no wonder Chris Seaver does not do any sort of jokes like this anymore.
It's like that scene from Community, just going, hope this doesn't awaken anything in me.
Yep, 5 hours later. Yeah, you would think at the start that this was like this whole thing starting out, this game would have been like, oh, it's just another Banjo clone. But as like kind of we brought up in the past, it's like they did so many things, both in terms of humor and gameplay, that was specifically reactionary to all of like what the sort of design that Rare was leading into at the time.
Yeah, like Disney and Nickelodeon, the animators and so forth, do, let's just say, their own projects when they're tired of doing kid-friendly stuff. And this is basically what exactly like that, except it was given a budget.
Yeah. Also, goddammit, more bots. Which, actually, hold on, like, I'm just gonna quickly look up this sort of thing Ben was, Okay, yeah, those are the, yeah, those are stuff that I'd really only be able to, like, do, like, if I log into, like, the creator dashboard on Twitch's site, but fucking hell, whatever. Ugh. Yeah, I just need to keep playing. It's whatever. We got like an hour and a half to go anyway, as far as for this first section. It's not a particularly long, like, late morning stream for me like it normally would be, you know? But we got things to do. I definitely think after this, more than anything, I need to just add you onto the moderator list.
Yeah, I've been meaning to say, like, you know, because it's like it just makes sense because you're busy with the game, and I'm just sitting here being a chucklefuck.
Yeah, and it's also like the sort of thing where I'm so used to not having, like, so many, like, not having a lot of eyes just pop into, like, my stream or, like, interact and whatever. Like, so I have to have this mentality of all right, I'm focused on the game, just gonna say whatever comes to mind. And then when I'm not that trained in, like, how to deal with other things, that's how problems start. Oh god, the fan blade, right? Oh. Ooh, yeah, the fan blade, in which I describe it as, like, the most guaranteed spot in the game that I am likely to die for the first time. Which, I'm going to place my bets right here, just because of, like, again, I'd done, like, a practice run-through of, like, this entire game this past weekend to get a sense for how long it took and how many parts it would take to stream. I'm pretty sure for the entirety of this first stream, I am not going to die even once. So, too bad. You're not gonna be introduced to Death himself until a bit longer.
Thanks very much. I'm going in. Wish me luck.
Oh god, here it is. Oh, that poor squirrel.
Sickened, disgusted, vaguely aroused.
Yeah, especially that expression is just 1,000 yards there.
I feel like a new man.
So do I.
It's the fact that he goes from
Okay.
Oh yes, here we go.
That's the line. And then this is what we have to do. Although it's a bit tricky in this case because of the camera not giving you, like, a good vantage point of, like, where you're landing. But then again, just describing that is, like, already grounds for suspicions, considering the context. Oh. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. I gotta make sure that I'm pressing the button at the right time to bounce off. And then go into, like, a helicopter, like, hover jump to get up to where that fucking wad of cash will not stop yelling at me.
I'm just gonna say it's probably a good thing that jiggle physics hadn't been properly worked out for at least another year and a half.
There it is. Okay, got it. Finally. Yeah, they liked Mario 64's camera because that was basically their core frame of reference when they started making this game, you know? This was still early on enough, and it's like... Guys, yeah, it's like they talked about this subject a lot when, like, Chris was, like, doing, like, his developer commentary playthrough, and where he had, like, a lot of the old devs, including the camera programmer, which led to, like, some funny back and forths during that whole process where you could tell, because it had been a long time doing these challenges and dealing with the camera, that Chris was like, God, this fucking camera, who the hell designed this? And then the camera programmer, Sean Pyle, was like, I did. Why did you make it this way? You were the one who told me to. Oh. Like, just the poor realization of, oh, I am paying for the mistakes that I have made and, like, everyone else's mistakes because I told them to make it this way.
Oh, well, I guess I went and fucked up then.
Yeah. And it's why Live and Reloaded just has, like, a normal third-person camera, which is, like, definitely more functional, but also kind of contributes to how, like, it feels like that remake kind of lost some of the sort of charm that, like, this game had as far as feeling like a proper platformer.
Yeah, I remember the camera controls being a big bonus. Oh, sorry, almost knocked over my mic there. I remember the camera controls being a big bone of contention when the remake was released.
Yeah. Oh, just looked. Ben actually just gave me, like, a good tip. Like, I think I can use this to quickly mod you right now.
Cool.
So, and then, yeah, it's _static with a K, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Static. Okay. Hopefully that went through. Maybe just type something,
Yep.
see if you have a mod badge, or...
I've already got mod view up. So.
Cool. Hell yeah. Okay, glad. Thanks again, Ben, with the assist.
Yeah, I'm a mod on Fiendly's channel, so I have some idea of what to do.
That's good. Thank you so much. Hell yes.
I am from just outside Glasgow, so central as it gets.
Yep. Here we are with the bats, who, even though they communicate entirely in squeaks, still have sensors on certain words, and they have a pretty good running joke about how one of the bats complains about, like, what are you talking about? I can't see shit. You have echolocation, you fuckwad.
So yeah, I'm actually going to Edinburgh not next month, August, to see Randy Feltface, if anyone's ever heard of him.
Nice.
Australian puppet that does some absolutely fucking hilarious stuff. One of his shows, Randy writes a book. First thing I ever saw from it was check out Randy Buys a Bookcase on YouTube. Genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Randy Buys a Bookcase.
Yeah, the original show is up on YouTube, but that 10-minute segments, swear to God, I have seen it easily about 30 times at this point, and it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend constantly quote it to each other.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yep. So he's from Australia, so I think this is one of the first times he's been in the UK. So, really looking forward to seeing that.
Nice. Well, I hope that goes well, man.
Yep. It's part of the Edinburgh Fringe, where, you know, all the shows and that are usually ridiculously expensive. Except for some reason, the tickets are only like 13 quid. Just barely anything.
So here's how we're going to solve this problem of getting this pitchfork, which lacks an esophagus, out of this noose.
When in doubt, knives.
Yep. Oh. Stay still, damn it.
Quit wiggling.
You can see the occasional, like, butcher meat cleavers getting mixed in with the knives as well. Okay. All right, now this is... I was honestly
expecting an entire butcher's block to go flying through the air.
Yeah. Just, like knives, spoons, various kitchen appliances.
Microwave.
Yeah.
Fridge freezer.
Now, here comes the scene that has, that was originally meant for what would have been a cut-out, joke. I'll describe it when the moment happens. Oh, these dumbasses.
Thank you, Mr. Squirrel. I was hanging up there by my pretty little neck. It was like one of them executions you hears about.
Now imagine if those hoods were just color
white.
inversed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that coming a mile off.
Yeah. Like, the line would have been, it was just like one of them lynchings you hear about.
Yeah.
And it's like...
really not great.
No, it's real fucking funny just for how shocking it is. But considering that a lot of, like Nintendo of America was the only part of Nintendo willing to publish this game, that they were like... Whew. Like, just fucking seizing up, having a heart attack in their corporate boardroom as they see this demonstrated, and are like, you fuckers need to cut this out right now. Like,
just a tiny bit too spicy.
Yeah, it's like, look, listen, man, none of us are clan members. We hate the clan. Fuck the clan. We have no idea how many clan members might be fans of us, though. We can't let this slide.
Look, at the end of the day, we like money. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, just, Howard Lincoln sees it, and then narration, and then suddenly, the Nintendo executive died of a fatal heart attack. Just that, Terry Gilliam bit from Holy Grail, just keeling over at his animator desk.
And there was much rejoicing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like, it's no surprise as well that, like, with the comedy focus of these dudes being British, that, yeah, of course there would be, like, they'd have to have, like, watched plenty of, like, Monty Python, like, Flying Circus and whatnot prior to this.
Oh, yeah. I
Like,
mean...
there was even a skit, I think, that was specifically named as an inspiration for the, quote, groundbreakingly trivial plot. I forget the name, but it's one that has the line, "We need to win Wimbledon."
I have not seen the original TV show in years.
Same.
Got it on DVD,
But I think it's like Charlemagne or like some like royal figure like playing like in an important tennis match of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one season which just had a lot of... I think they must have just spent like a weekend at the park and at the sports grounds. There's one season that just seems to have a hell of a lot of sports jokes in it.
Yeah. Also, the line with like the reveal that this is actually a Terminator, buff you asshole. That is the thing that cements that this entire boss is just like, well, like one joke at the expense of Andrew Betts. And like his whole Buff Betts nickname. Because I'm pretty sure the idea is that I would not be surprised if the reason they ended up like they eventually stopped calling him Buff Betts in the office was probably because he quipped back with "buff you asshole." I would not be surprised if that was his way of just going, "No, I am done with this shit. You guys need to stop." But whatever, it's still pretty funny. Like, if you wanted a good way to get around the idea of having to say "fuck you" to someone, "buff you" is a pretty good substitute.
I mean, it's better than frag.
Yeah. Or frick. Just because it's like, it just sounds so much like you are so close in an unimaginative way that why don't you just go, like, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
But this is, meanwhile, it's more like on the level of, you know, as we heard Conker say, "Eat lead, mother buzzer." Oh no. I smell a lawsuit coming out of those flames! They knew that they were edging so fucking close with these parodies.
Susie 9mm.
That is not 9mm, you just wanted to say that so you could have a dumb pun.
It's an easy 9mm.
Yep. Anyway, here we go. First proper boss fight of the game. It's a simple thing to do. Continuing to ride on Frankie's back.
Could just get off it and run, but no.
Well, no, the reason we have to be on his back is because Conker hurt his leg after the fall.
Okay.
Look at it, how his little legs...
Corrected.
I love that his legs just continue to, like when you're doing a slow walk, it's just a little tiny crawl. It's like, basically expecting, like, the Twinkle Toes sound effect to come from, like, you know, like if you were, like, watching the Flintstones or a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah, it really needs a little tinkle sound.
Yeah. Yeah, just riding on the back of our friendly Southern Pitchfork. Who's gay, by the way.
Good for him.
Happy Pride Month, everybody! Don't worry, like, the fact that this dude is gay is, like that's not a slight against him, because he is an ally. We did help him out by, like, sticking up for him against, like, a paintbrush who were being just merciless dicks to him. He does get extra friendly towards Conker in a way that, like, you know, Conker's not appreciative of it. Like, he sees this more as just, like, something as, like, a mutual agreement between them. But he is nice and means well. Oh god, I just realized I should have actually let him grab me before I blew off his other arm. Because during my playthrough on the weekend where I was trying to see, like, how quickly I could get through the game, he has, like, a grab animation, like, if you're close to him, where he grabs you with the arm, and it's like, it has a short cutscene where he holds you up to his face, and Frankie tries to headbutt him, and it does nothing before tossing them away. It is like, that is such a good animation. I wish I fucking showed that. Because otherwise, this is what you're expected to do. You get him to short circuit with the water. You jump up and press B to press the do not push button. So kind of like with the getting the hive back for the queen bee, this is another one of those very early things they did that solidified the rest of the game's design. This basically told them, wait, we could do more movie parodies.
Showed him that time. Hey, Frankie. Frankie, where's he gone? Oh no.
Oh no.
Mr. Scrooge.
Ah, God, he's broken him in half.
Oh
Don't
no.
look too good.
His two little legs separated from the rest of his body.
What do you mean, all right? Look at me. I'm broken in two.
Do you think there was possibly a model made of Frankie where, like, his pitchfork part of his body had more prongs? Like a third one, but they decided to cut away from it because they thought it'd be distracting, like having his dick hanging out?
Only if the third one was shorter.
Yes! God, now I want that design.
Although maybe that would have been a little bit too obvious.
Maybe. But yeah, look at that. Duct tape actually being used for something good.
It ain't so bad after all. What do you think?
Don't worry, it works like a bandage. You leave it on long enough, like the wood will just, like, start to heal itself, kind of like skin.
Oh yeah, wood fuses itself to wood all the time.
He's got to be the most generous, kindest, nicest, loveliest guy.
Oh, he's such a good
No, let's
boy.
get sentimental. Anyway, we gotta find a way
Like,
out
he
of here
values
now.
his friends.
Yeah, you could be right.
Except right now, what he's about to do.
Yep. Yes, typical.
Oh, anyway, Mr. Squirrel, I've gotta go. See ya.
Where the hell are you going? Take me with you, dickhead.
Oh well, suppose I'd better start swimming.
Alright, here it is.
Want to look at those wires.
Here is
He's okay, he can float.
Yeah. Here's a very tense gameplay sequence that is probably, like, one of the first big problem spots that'll likely lead to people dying the first time. Because we have to climb up as the water rises while simultaneously cutting these hanging electrical wires. Because if they touch the water, we get fried.
Obvious, yeah.
Yeah, Venomous totally understands. This is like, so many people die here all the time. And it's like, the only reason I'm able to, like, do this quickly and efficiently is because of that last playthrough I did on the weekend. So I still largely remember where all the wires are. Okay, well, I seem to be missing that one, and that's too far away, so I'll just deal with, like, these other ones that are close. Like, look at this one. That one is almost submerged. You would so easily miss it.
Yeah.
Like, I love this game. I do not deny, though, that they were somewhat unnecessarily cruel with a bit of the design. I mean, it is rare on the N64. It's kind of a given.
Yeah, some bits seem a little, difficult.
Yeah, very tight on timing. I mean, like, you saw with the, what was it? The beehive. When we were running from the wasps, they were insanely close, and like it's designed in a way that, oh my god, camera, what the fuck are you doing? Oh god. Oh god, I might actually. Well, just barely. Oh fucking hell.
Oof.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh, I might get to see Greg soon, sooner than expected. I don't know. That was, oh my god. Like, the camera was just fucking me up right there, you saw. And why is the... There it is. Oh god, just the hitbox has to line up so exact.
Yeah, I cannot see shit right now. Just too dark.
To be fair, me neither. There it is. Oh my fucking god. Tui's version of cruel was specifically not cruel. That's true, yeah. There weren't really a lot of hard dexterous challenges in Tui. It was just very tedious with all the backtracking. Seriously, I'm just, like, ending up in the wrong spots that the camera is freaking itself out. I need to get out of here. And I actually have the lights off in my room right now to try and minimize on light glare possibly hitting the screen, and it's still that fucking dark.
Yeah.
But we're free. Oh, shit.
That was a close one.
Yeah, I was... Oh, God. Streamer's luck. I'm gonna call it that.
Yeah, streamer's luck usually isn't.
Well, yeah, I say luck because the luck is usually bad.
Here I am, you greedy bastard.
Alright. There's no need to be rude.
Who wants to be a millionaire? Me, actually.
Hey, remember when the idea of being a millionaire just seemed like the best goal you could hope for financially in the world? Before billionaires just became more of a thing? And became more and more undesirable?
Yeah, but these days, you know, I lull myself to sleep with the thought of playing air hockey with their teeth.
True. Yeah. Like I say, eat the rich. It doesn't count as cannibalism because they're not human. Anyway, we're back on outside of the barn, going way higher up than we previously did when we were trying to get some of those tickly bees. And it's oh yeah.
Is this where they got the idea for was it nuts and bolts, where the higher up you go, the more drowned out the music gets?
I would not be surprised, like, if... Yeah, because I think, like, this is the first Rare game I can think of where, like, they... No, Banjo-Kazooie had a level where you got to the highest point and the music drowned out, and, like, you didn't hear it anymore. It was just ambience. But here's the nice thing about this. We get an entire, like, panoramic view of all the major locations we potentially go to in the game. There's the spooky chapter. There's, it's hard to make out from there, but that's basically where the prehistoric world takes place, like inside that formation. There's where the war chapter takes place. Well, we're not talking about the war until we get there. There's the hive, and there's the tower. Oh yeah, and the Panther King's castle.
Yeah, years before Dark Souls did it as well.
Yep. Yeah, Venomous had the right idea. Banjo-Kazooie did it, like, in Treasure Trove Cove. TTC is the abbreviation. Yeah, you get to the highest point, it's all ambience. The best option they could have come up with to get you back down to ground level, or close to.
Someone was a big fan of the Kirby games, I see.
Yeah. Also, just all this sort of specific cartoonish stuff they go with is like... Yeah, you can tell, obviously, a lot of this game's influence with, like, the raunchy humor comes from the fact that this was post-South Park, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was, those first few years of the show was, like, its own cultural milestone in various ways. That, of course, it would influence this. But the way they still go about it isn't just being explicitly derivative of the type of jokes and humor South Park would go to, even though they both have commonalities in a sentient poo character. But this is just like, I always look at Conker as like, what if they just made the raunchiest episodes of Looney Tunes imaginable?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you have the right idea. Like, it's, compared to some of the humor in early South Park seasons, this holds up, a lot of these jokes hold up a lot better than a good number of early South Park jokes. They were very blunt force crude in their nature.
Yeah. It's, I've always said it's a very, like, well, I don't want to use the word edge for obvious reasons, but there's a very fine line that you have to walk with that sort of thing.
True.
Because, you know, you go too far one side, and it just becomes cruel and unfunny. And the other, it's just not funny.
Yeah. Whereas here it's like, you know, they got the swearing, they got the violence, scat and all that, but we literally have a game mechanic that is built all around your cartoon character just pulling out random objects as the situation requires out of their pockets. with like a seemingly infinitely bottom space inside.
Hammer space.
Yep. That'll be important for the future, once I actually die at some point later on. We go back there and all that. But we're done here in the barn, actually. We can go back to that fork in the road and use our remaining hour to get a bit pooey.
There's no way you can say that doesn't sound troubling.
Well, yeah, there's yeah, I mean, like, this is the sort of thing where, like, it's gross, but it's gross in a way that it's not entirely revolting, and just because it is not being presented in a realistic manner. We're dealing with cartoon shit, not actual human shit. Be grateful we're not having to look at that. But first, here's an optional area that most people probably wouldn't go to the first time.
Get the impression somebody doesn't want me to be here. They certainly don't want me to go that way. Think I'll go that way.
I appreciate that logic.
Don't want to go that way. That way down there leads to the old pet cemetery.
Yeah. Sometimes. That is better. So this whole bit with, like, the series of cutscenes, I completely fucked that up. I gotta get back up on this specific plank. But the whole idea, they just came up with this because they were like, they wanted, even though they had the final level in view and you could technically go here if you needed to, like, come back for something, it's like, they realized that people were going here well before they should have, because this technically leads to the final level. And they were like, okay, testers are going this direction. We gotta make a whole series of cutscenes just to tell people not to fucking go here.
No, seriously, we're not joking.
Heck. Looks like I'm going that way.
No shit, that actually is in this game. If you don't go to the barn first, but instead stop by the poo cabin. That's wow. I'm gonna have to start another playthrough on, like, a separate file after this just to confirm that, because I was definitely trying to confirm something for myself a while ago, actually. Specifically, as far as how far can you get into the game without actually dying? Because dying has its own cutscene and, to put it simply, introduces the concept of you grabbing extra lives. Because the extra live items in this game do not appear until you have died for the first time. So you could stave that off for a long time. And there's a bit where it's like the character of Death shows up like at another point, and it's the sort of thing that got me wondering after a while. It's like they had to have made a cutscene or something to kind of acknowledge the fact, like, that you had to have died before meeting Death a second time as part of the main story.
What are you looking at?
Wow, really? You did things in that order. I am so used to just doing things in this game the way that they were originally intended by design. I really got to do more, like, out-of-sequence stuff with this sometime. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. I got to look at that. Oh yeah, here it comes, the second part of the overarching joke of scientific minds needed to analyze this stupid, like, stupidly trivial problem.
Oh yes, I remember this bit.
And we're not talking any old gap here, my lord.
And it also says a lot about the Panther King's intelligence if he needs this level of explanation.
What happens? We have the fulcrum here.
Like, it says a lot about him, and it says a lot about Professor von Krippelspack. Oh yeah, that's his name, actually. I just dropped it anyway.
Okay, it's as bad as I thought it was going to be. Not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, it has cripple in the name. Of course it was going to be that. And then, like, the last part, it's like, I know I have not grown up in the UK to kind of know for sure, like, what all is acceptable things to refer to people. I just know spaz is, like, a no-go in a lot of instances.
Yeah, and spac in particular is a very British term.
Yeah.
Analogous to spaz.
Yep, it's, yeah, as mentioned before, they don't say it in game, so they...
vernacular.
Speedrunners get through the whole game without dying or one intentional death. Yeah, that's definitely something I gotta actually look up now to make sure. Because in my practice run this past weekend, I did get to the scene where you're technically supposed to meet death for the second time without dying. And I'll just say right now, I was kind of disappointed that the game didn't automatically force a death on you so that the second cutscene makes sense. It's just like, you go up to him and he's like, oh, it's you again. You again, but I didn't meet you. But I think it's the sort of thing where it was like, I think it was the sort of thing where testers at the time got to that chapter where he's supposed to show up without triggering the first cutscene, and that's I guess for some reason broke the trigger on the second cutscene starting. So they basically copped it and being like, alright, we'll just have Death acknowledge you as if you met him before, even though you technically didn't. It's just our cheap way of fixing it.
This place really smells. Well, if she were like dung beetles and we roll the poo around, knows what's for.
Yeah.
Really. If you want some poo.
No, you should not be asking that to any person under normal context.
Hey man, you want some poo?
Make it a bowl of poo, and you can do what the hell you like with it. Go on your break. You still here? Ah. Oh, charming.
Alright, call me now. Alright, fuck off now.
Alright, calm down.
That's the best fucking impression you're ever gonna get out of me for that fucking dialect.
I'm gonna say I was a solid 7 out of 10.
I'll take it. Here we go. We gotta work our way, jump across some ropes to the barn. There's a piece of chocolate in there. We're never gonna get it. That was left in there entirely because that was gonna lead to a cut area. And then Chris kind of realized, oh wait, we still have the chocolate there. Let's just leave it inside to completely fuck with people.
I mean, these are the people responsible for Stop and Swap.
Yeah. But at least to this game's credit, they got a lot of their, like, core, like, joke ideas out of the way and made it work. Freaking Stop and Swap didn't happen until XBLA with those ports.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, they were able to make a game this advanced without needing the expansion pack. DK64 needed it, and it's entirely because the technical team on it were inept.
Yeah.
Like you know about I take it, have you like read up on the story behind like what it was that caused them to have to use the expansion pack and make it a pack-in with every copy?
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but as I recall, it was like some small, tiny little glitch that the game would work perfectly with the expansion pack in.
Yeah.
But would not work at all with it removed. So they were like, we don't have the time to solve this. We need to have this in with every copy.
Yeah, pretty much by like using what we kind of know now whenever people bring up like very serious technical problems in games these days, and the fact that the expansion pack was specifically for doubling like the system's RAM, it was very clearly a memory leak. Like, because it wasn't just, like, a bug that completely fucked the game up. It was a bug that was happening, like, in areas that were not consistent. Like, it was so hard for them to test because it would always happen in different spots after playing for a certain amount of time. So the fact that they couldn't even realize that that was the problem and just, like, better optimize their game to fit on 4 megs of internal, like, random access memory, it's like... Yeah, that's an extra indictment to the mess that was Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, especially since, you know, like, memory leaks are one of the first things that programmers tend to look for.
Yeah, because if it keeps, like, eating up more and more of that memory, you're just, like, a lot of other functions in the game are just not going to be able to work properly, and it has, like, a complete existential failure. Just everything crashes.
Yeah.
Like, I remember... Like, I think the last time I noticed this happening for me, I think, was actually Left Alive. The game that I note as my favorite bad game of 2019. I played it on PC. I noticed it was crashing at random points. I did a session of that game when it was pre-patched with, like, the task manager open, and I distinctly noticed, like, the memory statistic on the task manager, just filling up more and more till it was just capping at 100%, and then it crashed.
Yeah.
Like, it was
It's not
real
one
bad.
of those. It's not one of those things. It's like the very first thing that you look for, or always super obvious. But most of the programmers I know have that in their top 3.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I still need to play Space Station Silicon Valley. Like, I always hear about it. It's definitely one of those, like, hidden gem cult classics, that's, like, not amazing in the grand scheme of, like, N64 games everyone remembers, but it has enough interesting things to it. But yeah, that's interesting, where it was, like, they had trouble making it work with the expansion pack because it caused memory leaks. That is funny.
Also, famously, you cannot get 100% on that game.
Oh god, that's right.
The collision detection on the very last collectible just doesn't work.
Yeah, I think every time I hear that, I'm reminded of that, I go, oh yeah, that does happen. No wonder I haven't gone looking for a copy of the game yet.
Yeah, because it's broken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, if it
was-
at least works for 99% of it, I guess that's at least worth, like a brief playthrough. But considering I don't have an EverDrive, that basically means I'm stuck having to use emulator if I want to do, like, a quick test run of it,
Yeah. It was ported to another console. I can't remember if it was, like, the PS2 or the Dreamcast
I
or something.
think it was PS1, actually, or something.
PS1, yeah.
But no one really talks about it.
Yeah. And I genuinely don't know if they fixed it or not. I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a bit of a... I mean, for one thing, it was released with absolutely zero fanfare. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a rushed port.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Avert your eyes if you're squeamish. And like, we failed to mention it, but continuing the proof that Conker doesn't swear, he described it as the screaming squits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we have to give cows prune juice so that they crap all their insides out.
Yeah, this game just unlocked so many fetishes in people as children.
And the original version of this was even more fetishy bait, if you could imagine.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, it was inflation would have been involved.
Of course.
Yeah, it was I think the only reason they went for it is because, like, the voice that Chris went for these cows was, I think, described as very specifically Eurotrash. Like, just, like, kind of late, like, the kind of, like, European lady that would absolutely be into this kind of debauchery.
Yeah, that's that voice is not so much Eurotrash, but very much putting on airs.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen a British TV show called Keeping Up Appearances.
Yes, I remember that.
The main character in it is a woman called Hyacinth Bucket, who swears that it's pronounced a bouquet.
Yeah, she is constantly trying to have her and, like, her husband act like that they are part of, like, an upper class family when they are as middle class as can be.
Yeah, and the rest of her family is very much working class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Coronation Street, that kind of up north kind of a voice from, like, Rochdale and all that.
Yeah.
But,
man, imagine
yeah,
if there was a version of Conker, now I think about it, where instead of the obvious movie parodies, it was all just, like, cribbing as much as possible from, like, various BBC sitcoms that the team watched at the time.
I imagine that's probably how it started, and they were told, you need to make it a bit broader.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff is pretty much, I mean, a lot of this stuff is impenetrable to people who do live in the UK, let alone people outside.
Yeah. It's the sort of thing where it's like, I'm just thinking now what it would have been like if they had to cut out, like, a bit where it's like, one of the levels as Conker has to go to, like, some island off the coast and masquerade as a priest. Hello there, Conker!
That money was just resting in my account, okay?
I hear you're a racist now, Conker! What? Who said I'm a racist? No, wait, that's not his way. Who said I'm a racist? Everyone's saying it, Conker. Yes, I was made aware of the existence of Father Ted not too long ago.
Now, you see, the thing is that squirrels don't wear black and don't tell people what to do. That's just fascist and priest. So I'm neither of those. So you can go stick it up your butt.
There you go. You got the character down pat, even down to the lack of swearing.
You can just go jump up your own buttholes.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking of like an extension of that bit. Just having another squirrel show up is like, I'd like to have a go at them fucking dung beetles. It isn't the dung beetles, it's the weasels he's after. I'm not after the weasels. I don't care as long as we're after the beetles. They invented poo balls. It writes itself. I think the whole reason that it came to mind is just because it's like I found like a meme channel on YouTube that mostly focuses on Elder Scrolls memes, and there's one for Skyrim that is about like what happens when you join the Stormcloaks, and it's that exact bit. Because it's just everyone just being like, yo, he's after the High Elves. Because of that whole bit in the story where like the Thalmor are just like the Inquisition. And just Father Ted's just trying to be like, no, I am not after the High Elves, all right? We're not having a go at them.
Like, those septims were just resting in my account, you see.
Mm-hmm. That should do it.
Yeah. Yeah, just moments like that. Keeping Up Appearances, Coronation Street, Hello, which I would say is still my... Of those BBC comedies, by far still my favorite. Like, and I've not even seen all the seasons. It's just I've spent so much time, like, it's funny, like, I eventually fall off after a while because there's so many seasons, but every time I start up, it's always to just rewatch the first 2 seasons again. Because it is funny as shit.
Went on for like 187 years. They're still... it's projected to end sometime in 2047.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just... I will never forget the wet celery and the flying helmet.
Now, the one which always stuck out to me just for how brazen, I think is the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
Is Helga, the
oh yeah, the secretary to the coronel.
Yes, at one point, there's a member of the SS called Herr Flick.
Yes, Flick of the Gestapo.
Herr Flick of the Gestapo.
Mm-hmm.
The pair of them are supposed to have a thing going on.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think she's wearing like a trench coat or something. He just rips it off her.
Yeah.
She's standing there wearing a corset.
Yeah, I remember that.
Underwear with 2 big fucking swastikas over her boobs.
Just swastika pasties, basically.
Yes. And I'm just like, I first saw that, I think I was probably about 8 or 10 at the time. And I was like, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, too young to really know the full implications of what's going on. But looking back at it now, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
It's horrific. Like, it's one of those that, like, you see a lot of people saying, oh, you couldn't get away with that kind of comedy in this day and age. And I'm like, yes, for good reason.
Yeah.
There's a very good reason why.
It's already pushing it that you have a Gestapo officer who's like, whose look is clearly inspired by the freaking Gestapo officer that was in the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
But I mean, but obviously, even that was more obvious how comedic it was. I mean, his name is Herr Flick, so when he calls up someone on the phone, he goes, Flick the Gestapo. No, I said Flick the Gestapo. Like, they knew.
Not to mention the fact that one of the main, we'll just say German officers, is blatantly every gay stereotype you can imagine for them.
Oh, yeah, Gruber. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Gruber.
that, like, again, you couldn't get away with that.
Yeah.
And
You could probably get away with most of his character intact, just toned down on, like, the various mannerisms. Because compared to all the German officers that are acted in that show, he is genuinely the nicest motherfucker out of all of them.
yeah. And the running joke of the Italian, whenever they say Heil Hitler, him saying Heil Mussolini, and everyone else saying, don't push it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that dude. There's the British agent disguised as the French officer.
Good morning. I was just pissing Bay.
Yep. And of course, who can forget? Listen very carefully. I will say this only once.
Yes, Vicky.
What was that? I will say this only once. Right, got it. Listen very carefully. I'll say this only once. I will take notes.
I have not seen that show in, I want to say, the better part of about 20 years, and I still remember so much of it.
Yeah. Admittedly, like, so much of, like, what I remember, like, it starts to fall off after the, God, what was it? It was the episode where, like, the officer von Klinkenhofen, where, like, literally every side in the show is plotting to assassinate him in some way. And where it's like the Resistance wants to blow up Renee's cafe, the Colonel wants to poison him with, like, a drug in his wine, and then the Herr Flick wants to kill him by using an exotic poison darts that get shot out of, like, a cigarette holder. And Renee just wants none of this. Because just the whole point is, like everything comes to a head where it takes, I forget the guy's name. He's like the other assistant to the Colonel, the one where instead of saying Heil Hitler, he goes, Klopp! The dude with the glasses, and he's just like, no, don't you understand? You don't need to kill von Klinkerhofen. We'll do it. If you just take the pill in the till, mix with it the drug in the jug, you do not need to light the candle with the handle on the gateau from the chateau.
Oh, God, yes.
Simple plans are best.
They actually gave it a proper ending where Renee and his wife escaped to Britain.
Oh. Yeah, I definitely did not get that far to actually see that was the end result of that.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but they wind up in a plane going over to Britain with the real copy of The Fallen Madonna with the Big Boobies by Van Klumpt.
Yep. Cannot forget that full title.
It's always The Fallen Madonna with the Big Boobies by Van Klumpt.
Yep. No exceptions.
I forget.
Or most of them don't say by Van Klump at the end. That's already understood. They feel the need somehow, despite that, to specify that it's the one with the big boobies.
The boobies are big.
Yes.
On this Fallen Madonna. This is very important, and shall be said repeatedly.
Absolutely. I should probably watch it again, which means I am going to, like clockwork, just start at the beginning of the first season, and then just keep going until I drop off again, which is probably going to be after season 2. Not because it gets bad, but probably just because I get so overwhelmed that I can no longer keep binge watching.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem with a lot of those 80s British comedies, 70s and 80s British comedies in general, is that a lot of them are very repetitive.
Yeah. Even with as great as the jokes and wordplay are in Hello and Low, you can definitely see, like, the bits that they have coming after a while.
Yeah, because I think at the time, the guys behind it were working on, like, 3 or 4 different sitcoms at the same time.
Not surprising.
And a lot of them recycled the same jokes between shows, just with, obvious... switching up for whatever situation the show called for.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, still a funny fucking time. And probably with, like, being reminded that Father Ted is a thing, I should probably actually watch that, because the few clips I did see after that particular meme, the one with the racist bit, is like, that got me going. Like, it was that, like, if there's 2 things that stick out of my mind, it's that bit where he's trying to deny allegations of being a racist, and the speed parody with the milk truck that has to stay above 5 miles an hour.
Speed 2.5, I think it's called.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, just because it's like it's pretty funny. Like I'm definitely down with like the core idea they got going. You know, priests just like being in like relative isolation on this island off the coast of Ireland, has a bunch of other priest friends, one of which is nice, the other's not so nice.
They said that they realized, you know, like they were struggling to work out what kind of what kind of angle they were wanting to put on it, because obviously they were wanting to make it like a very big piss take of provincial life, living out in the boonies. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah, that was so clear.
They said that the moment it all came together for them was there's a scene of Father Dougal, who's the dim one.
Oh yeah,
looking
Dougal.
out the window with a pair of binoculars, looking at obvious stock footage of ants, and it's in really extreme close-ups, so the ants look like the size of a car. And the original idea was they were going to have them stripping a cow skeleton to the bone. Obviously, that didn't get put in it.
Wow.
But it's just this close-up of ants crawling all over each other. And then he just puts the binoculars down, turns to Ted and goes, "The ants are back, Ted." That's it.
Nice.
Like, yes. That's where we're going with this.
Yep, this show's all coming up Millhouse.
Yes, we put the brick on the accelerator.
Quickly move all the boxes out of the way. Put them in front of this other car. And then ram through the boxes with the other car. like that is some genius fucking parody comedy if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, the original, I was going to say the original, there was plans to do a stage musical, but Graham Linehan is a complete and utter dickhead these days, so that got, yeah, he's gone full TERF, has for some years now.
Well, fuck him too, then.
Yeah, it was because he was doing a show called The IT Crowd, which started off incredibly funny.
Yeah, I remember IT Crowd. It was some good shit at the start.
First couple of seasons were really funny, but there's a joke in which one of the characters, and I say joke in the, you know, that was what it was intended.
Yeah.
Where one of the characters is dating a woman and finds out that she's trans. And he starts making lots of jokes, being like, "Oh, you know, it's fine, you know, used to be a lad, you like the same things I like," and naturally she takes real offense to it. And the pair of them wind up fist fighting. A lot of people pointed out, dude, you know that you're basically saying it's okay to beat up trans women, right? And he was like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I mean, I guess it would depend if the scene made it look like that the person that was trans was winning that fight. But it's still kind of a hard thing to kind of convince if like both are equally engaging in that sort of thing at once, you know?
I mean, it does turn out into I want to say it's like a smaller scale version of the big fight from They Live. Freddie Roddy Piper.
Oh, yeah, the fucking back alley fight.
Yeah, kind of turns into that a little bit. But people were like, right, you do realize the subtext here. Like what it sounds like you're actually saying. And he was like, "Yeah, nah, you're just being too oversensitive."
Right.
And he kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. And eventually he's lost countless business opportunities, which good. He has been banned on social media dozens of times. He keeps trying to make new Twitter accounts, which get banned immediately.
Right.
And his wife eventually was like, "This is becoming intolerable. I can't stand this. You become a monster. I'm taking the kids and leaving."
Wow. Yeah, that's how you know you've really fucked everything up in your life.
The thing
with your
is,
decisions.
Though, he was doing an interview on Newsnight, which is like a really respected British TV show. which it typically does. Like, it'll do interviews with politicians, and then it'll do stuff on popular culture, and it's sort of a current affairs show, but it's like the big show that people really sit up and take notice of, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he went on saying the trans folk have taken my family from me, and it's like, nah, you did it by being a gigantic bell end, mate.
Yeah.
This is just, do you know what consequences are?
True.
Because you're facing them.
Oh, well.
And he just refuses to have anything to admit that he might be wrong. But yeah, fuck him.
Yeah. Serious adult topics on an adult, not so serious game.
Yes, serious adult topics in our game in which squirrel fight poo.
Yep. And now we gotta take care of a bullfish, which is literally just a fish with a bull or bull shark, I guess. That is making life hell for a bunch of aristocratic catfish. Which, I mean, they're rich, so fuck them as well. But they're promising cash, so I guess we gotta help them.
We help them out, we get the cash, and then boil catfish dinner.
Yeah.
Why
Oh,
is it
God,
everyone
this
so
fucker.
expensive around here?
Either bring me back missing cogs, or off.
You don't have to shout.
I'm deaf. Speak up.
That is the most blunt any character gets in this game. I'm confident in saying that.
Won't you, someone? Tell me, would you be prepared to do me a small favor? A little help, of course.
Hi. And, yes, I would. Maybe.
You see, my other self has lost a few of his, shall we say, friends. And if you don't get them back, my life will be a misery. It already is.
And?
Just get
Yeah,
them
10% of that.
back.
There should be enough.
Fellow.
We've been getting $100 wads consistently. It only makes sense.
Rat! Don't ever do that again! Now off!
Yep. Yeah.
The thing is, though, the cog looks like he's got a pair of massive tits for a cog.
Yeah. It's like, clearly the idea is that, like, when the other pair of eyes are closed, it's supposed to look like a butt chin, but yeah, I could see it's like comes off more as man boobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some
yeah, there's what I was
huge
talking
pair of
about.
mammals.
Hey, there's that dude that burns Barry. Where? I can't see. Oh, fuck you. Okay, come on. I can actually... Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to... Unfortunately, I don't know, like, how well I can do things with, like, adjusting the... Because I've tried when I was practicing, like, in these dark areas, adjusting the brightness and contrast, like, in the OBS source, but, like, it really fucks up with, like, how the image looks. You know, like, black's no longer looking black proper. Brightness settings on modern displays really do not work out as well as they do when you adjust them on a CRT, where it feels like, yeah, it's somewhat brighter, but it's not fucking up everything to do with the gamma. So, I've only been able to really adjust it on, like, my end. You'll just have to trust me that, like, I am not walking across these wooden beams blindly. Because we have to get to the top and pull a lever.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't even see that there were beams.
Yeah. I mean, it had gotten to a point on my TV where, like, I had everything at the default settings, and I could barely even see that those were what I was walking onto. But yeah, this is another section where it becomes easy for deaths to rack up for people playing this, because, you know, walking across those beams, combined with judging perspective and angles in an early 3D game. Where we're going, we don't need eyes to perceive depth. Alright. And it's the sort of thing where, like, these ropes are angled in positions where it's like... They want to tempt you into, like, taking a shortcut by, like, doing a long jump over to them. But I've never had good luck actually pulling it off, is the thing. So, I always take the safer route. I just go along the beams like normal and hope to God I do not fall. Because at this height, if we fall all the way to the bottom, that's death. We're not just going to lose 1 bar of chocolate, 1 bar of anti-gravity chocolate consistently.
It's not quite a Kaizo trap, but it's on the same level.
Like I said, it feels very specifically like something you would have seen in like certain like Euro platformers. Things where it was like they don't have like the same idea of what's fun for a 2D platformer, so they like add unnecessary realism in spots where like it really shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, having any kind of fall damage in a cartoony platform like this has always been a little bit kind of dodgy to begin with.
Yeah. But I guess they kind of felt justified to do it in this compared to Banjo, since, you know, this game is technically supposed to be sold to adults. Adults should be able to handle it, unlike young kids.
Yeah, that's certainly an argument, yeah.
Been able to make the rope jumps inconsistently because it is intentionally inconsistent. Right, it's like I said, it's like, they knew. Those fuckers knew back in 2001. They wanted to, like, find ways to just be incredibly cruel about it. Like, look at how the camera zooms in. It's like it's trying to tease you with the idea. But that's because in this instance, it's actually possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that looks entirely doable.
Yeah, but when you see that, you're like, oh, maybe I could have done that with all the other ropes. No, it's not advised. Now, the switch isn't up here that we need to pull, but we do have extra money. And, just quickly looking in to make sure that, yeah, I did leave the 100% tag on the stream. So 100%, as I'm calling it, is I'm going to pick up what I think is every wad of cash that is possible to collect. Because there is a bare minimum you do have to get in order to access certain parts of... Oh, fuck.
Oh, bollocks.
Well, fuck that, then. Getting rid of that tag.
Well...
Also, hey!
First death.
But that's fine. Our reward for fucking up is a funny cutscene.
Conker! Yes, you boy! You're dead! You are dead! Deader than
Bloody ridiculous contraption. Whose idea was this anyway? Right. Hello.
You can barely see it, but he's got very dark green shoes.
See, I was more paying attention to his gold tooth.
Yeah. Also, his name's Greg, with 2 G's at the end, because it's a not-so-subtle jab at Greg Males, who's worked primarily, when it comes to the 3D platformers, on the Banjo games. There you go.
The squirrel.
More opportunities for Chris Seaver to just take the fucking piss out of people. Yo, thanks for the follow, Venom.
Problem with that?
Well, yes, there is, actually. It's like those bloody cats. Such a pain in the ass.
And here we go. Here's our fucking justification for extra lives. Squirrels operate on the same laws as cats.
I do what I'm told. I don't even get paid very much.
Alright.
Apparently, squirrels can have as many lives as they think they can get away with.
Yeah, I remember that line.
So I'm not dead.
You're dead, but not quite.
And he hates cats for this very specific reason.
Just you wait, smart
Which is a shame, because cats are lovely. I don't know what he did in his previous life to piss them off.
You may not be dead.
Yeah, the thing is, he's clearly influenced by the Discworld version of death.
Oh, yeah.
But
that version of death likes cats, so...
Well, are these tail things?
That's true, yeah.
Those tails. If you can get them, I'll give you an extra chance.
So yeah, all those, like, hooks that we've seen on certain fixtures, they now have tails whenever we go by them.
Strange? The best bloody
It begs the question, what happened to the squirrels that owned the tails before him?
I've got some
Especially when it's like, every single squirrel in this universe isn't a red squirrel like he is.
meow and
Yeah, there's a lot of grey squirrels.
the shit smells just bloody awful.
Bloody cat, I don't know.
He does not know. Well, to be fair, I guess I like to think of it based on everything I've always heard, like, as hearsay as far as, like, how cats behave, where it's like, if a cat's acting pissy and mean to you, like, the chances are there's no real good way you're going to be able to, like, get them to change their minds about it. They're just like, either I like this person or I don't like this person, and that's it.
Oh yeah, some cats can be absolute brats. I've got two, as I've probably said before.
Yep.
One of them, Chester, is very boisterous and likes beating up his brother Tal. He's very timid. And, you know, basically you look at him and it's like, yeah, you're one of life's perfect victims, you know?
Yeah.
But whenever people come over, Chester hides in the bedroom. He's like, I'm not coming out. I don't want anything to do with people. And Tal's like, hello, you're my new friend, aren't you?
Sounds like me.
Yeah. So cats can run hot and cold at the best of times.
Yeah.
But some just don't like being around people, full stop.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing where, like, depending on how much you really love cats, you could take that as a sign of, like, they're a great judge of character. Because who knows? Maybe they'll dislike someone who, when you learn about them more, you're like, oh, they're actually a piece of shit. Good call, cats.
Yeah, Chester, like, I've been with my girlfriend over 4 years now, and he still refuses, like, he'll come into the living room, and he'll walk over to me and be like, hi, love you, and then he'll walk past her and just give her the biggest, most obvious body swerve you've ever seen. She will have her arm out, stretched out to pet him, and he will literally curve around her. like a fucking slinky, I swear.
I
mean, he's perfectly nice to her when I'm not in the room.
I see. Yeah. He only wants to show that attitude to you when it's only you around.
Yeah. Because she'll come through, and, you know, walk into whatever room he's in. He's like, hello, here is my tummy. Please give it rubs. Give me head pats. And then I'll walk in and be like, enough of that. Flip over. Walk out.
Yeah. Ben has a friend with 3 cats. One of them's very outgoing. The other 2 hide. Yeah. Unsurprisingly, the one that is super friendly is gonna get all the attention no matter what.
Yeah.
All right. Continuing to work our way back up. It's so weird. I still cannot believe I fell out of the fucking tower like that.
A case in point, Chester, he had to go to the vets because he was having problems with one of his legs.
Yeah.
And when he came out the box, because this was during the lockdown, so I had to wait outside. So the vet takes him in. 20 minutes later, comes back, and she's like, yeah, I'm actually really concerned because he's what they call knuckling, which is rather than walking on the pads normally, it's when they essentially walk on the top of their foot, so their foot's like bent under them. Which can be a sign of serious neurological damage.
Yeah,
so it's like,
almost sounds like me how I shift the weight on my feet whenever my soles are so sore from standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's rough.
I was like, oh, that's a serious problem. So bring him back home, and he walks out of the carrier, and he's still doing it. And then he notices me, and then he notices we're back home, and I swear he just flips his paw back around and goes, oh, okay, no need to do that shit anymore. I'm like, you little prick.
Oh, yeah, you little hairy bastard. Come here, let me love you.
Seriously, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, you've literally just cost me an extra 170 quid for this fucking vet's appointment. I swear to God, if I did not love you, I would be having cat teriyaki.
Oh no. Alright.
You little bastard. But he does stuff like that all the time, and at the end I'm just like, I can't hate you.
Yeah. Can't hate you, you're too goddamn cute.
I love you, I just don't like you at this precise moment in time.
Yeah. That's the part that just makes cats so much. Have always made them so much more endearing and entertaining to me than dogs. Because yeah, dogs can be absolutely like sweet, but like cats have got like that particular streak in them that is like very much them just trying to act one way, but deep down you know it's like the other.
Yeah, cats have an anti-authoritarian streak in them, which I just cannot bring myself to dislike.
Yeah, because I empathize the same way. I empathize with those little furry assholes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I now need to give quick mention. We're about to get into a cutscene that is also another moment that Christopher looks back on with deep regret.
Oh dear.
Bloody hell. Come on, put it on, quick. Put it on, I like it like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fantastic.
That's why he wants his cogs back.
Black bugger, you have? What you doing? What?
Oh. Forced blowjob into forced anal, I guess. I don't know. It's bad
like,
no matter how you read it. Oh, Jesus.
Like, there's no good way for this to look.
The only thing that redeems it is what happens after we get all the cogs back, because I think even back then they knew that the punchline has to be this fucking cog getting his just desserts. Yeah, you'll see after we get these next two.
Yeah.
Assuming they show themselves. Ah, damn it.
Consent wasn't invented until the 2010s, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I'd like to say you're wrong.
Well,
I'd really like to say that.
Well, I mean, like, Mad World came out in 2009. It has a joke where John DiMaggio goes, "No means yes, and yes means anal." So that was definitely a period of time where it was like, yeah, even as late as that, it was still seen as okay to make those kind of non-consensual jokes.
I blame our schools.
Yeah, same principle as roofies. Another joke that is like, yeah, that's funny, but boy, you could not get a newer game to make that happen.
No.
It's like, you're lucky you're being funny as fuck, Greg Proops, or else, oh boy.
I mean, I would say Mad World can get away with it because they make it very clear from the outset, this is the way our comedy's going.
Yeah, this is all being presented as like a TV blood sport. Why the fuck wouldn't we be crass and offensive about something so inhumane? Alright, just gotta get that one last fucking cog. And speaking of cogs, obviously we got like these 3 lady cogs that we gotta get back for the big foul mouth one. You probably also noticed even like the extra big cog that is all the way to the right.
Has a gigantic mustache, yes.
Yeah. He's got a role to play in all this.
Well, the gigantic handlebar mustache does imply, shall we say, certain stereotypes.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. Fortunately, like, this collecting cogs bit actually went a lot faster than my practice run, because the final one, for whatever reason, just kept outrunning me every single time. Because when you're going in the water, it's like your run speed is slightly reduced because Conker is having to wade through it. So there we go. Red, blue, and green. They're back. We can get this mechanism working again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for one of these kind of sections in a rare game, that went remarkably quickly.
Yeah. We're gonna get something out of this. Just you wait. Yeah, like his more proper side was referring to the friends very sarcastically, because he knows that like his cruder side just wants them for his own sick pleasure. Oh yeah, right off the peg. I always remember that. Twatting shite.
it's very
On this playable card.
Like I said, this is the most blunt and crude any of these characters are. Oh, and where'd he end up?
Oh no! Not Mr. Big Cock. That's me, buggered.
I've heard of going for a moustache ride, but
I don't know what his problem is. I find it rather delicious.
Oh yeah, and his other side's definitely finding it kinky.
oh
I
boy.
think you find that your little problem outside has been thoroughly taken care of.
Oh, cool.
Now, good day to you, sir.
Toffee nose snob.
I said good day.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Yeah, even Conker doesn't like the dude, even when he's being polite. He knows how all these rich types are. Goddamn twat. And now the Lady Cogs are free. They are now...
You might say.
Yeah, they are now exiting the rest of the game up until we get to the point where the game started with that opening scene in the throne room, you know? We obviously have to know how everyone gets there.
Yeah, I noticed a few characters from later on in the game in the intro.
Mm-hmm. Well, that bull shark's taken care of. And I'm going to do the next sequence necessary to get inside the save, and I think once I do that, we're gonna call it quits. So we'll keep things within that 2.5 hour limit that we needed to work with.
Yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. Just because I know once we get inside, it'll save our progress easily.
Yeah.
That squirrel person again.
Oh, it's you.
Ooh. I see our brutish friend didn't get his victuals today.
Yeah, well, time enough for that. I need the combination. Thanks.
Oh, no, you don't seem to understand. Yes, you don't understand us. We can't
Really?
go about giving away classified information like that just to anybody. Wow.
See, this is how you discover you have a taste for fishing with dynamite.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, if it wasn't for any other repercussions, it's like that come as a result of it, it's like I'm sure there'd be a whole lot of good reason to just keep doing dynamite fishing. You want results quick? No matter how messy? Fucking go for it.
You want them done right, or do you want it done fast? Fast.
Yes. There we go. Now we're at 3 lives. I still do.
Classified by who? For what governmental need? Oh, yeah, wouldn't you like to know?
These metal spike ball gremlins, I still am confused as to like how they were originated and why they're in this game.
Yeah,
Like they
I
have
think
no
they
character
probably-
introduction of any kind.
to you, yes.
I imagine they wanted to go for some kind of sea mine kind of joke / enemy, and just kind of worked backwards from there.
Yeah, and now it's just like these weird like little goblin things. They go me, and just like that's all their sounds that they make, and they exist basically to get dunked on as part of like a gameplay joke, you know? Like I mean for God's sake, we rolled a poo ball and just knocked it on top of one of them, and they're still walking around to this very day, covered in shit. All right. Cool. Made it inside. Now we can get our money.
Hello? Money? Money? Who the hell are you? You ain't my boss. Get out of here. I'm showing what
No,
the
we haven't done Great and Mighty Pooh yet.
Yeah, we're doing these bits like in what are essentially like meant to be what I always felt was like the intended order. So yeah, Great Mighty Pooh will be next time. And obviously we did not get the money right now because even after getting into this fucking vault, we got to go through like a whole bunch of other tasks just to chase after this. But hey, at least we can settle with the fact that, you know, I mean, we're fairly stacked as is, $700, and no one has mugged us for it yet. That's pretty good.
Yeah, any day that you can end with 700 in your pocket and no lumps in your head, I'll take that to be a good day.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, this was a good first start, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just weird drop frames over the network aside, which admittedly have not been as consistent. Like, everything's been running fucking well. No shenanigans like last time. No everything crashing and leading me to think that the local recordings got corrupted, which fortunately they didn't. I was at least able to upload the majority of like the VOD from like the N64 grab bag. I didn't upload the last two parts because they were so short, and I was a lazy bastard. I did not feel like stitching them together in a video editor.
Yeah, like I said, it would have required some serious Frankenstein work.
Yeah. Don't worry. I wasn't stressing too much about having a 0 death run. My hope was that I was going to get through this first part without any deaths was the thing. Because I know exactly the moment where it's like, I always die so many fucking times, and the game knows it, because when you get to that part, there is always a squirrel's tail hanging right before it. Like they were bastards, and they knew it, and they still kind of had those things lying around as sort of to not make it too frustrating that you stop the game.
Yeah, would have been a fun bonus, but not necessarily a requirement.
Yeah, especially because I specifically did a playthrough like over the weekend on a separate file just to see if I could do how far I could go without deaths, and it didn't really amount to, as I described, much of anything different, you know? Like a particular cutscene that was originally bugged to only play if you had died beforehand was made so that it plays no matter what.
Yeah.
So, not much else that's being missed. Plus, getting to see Greg at any point is a good time. But being a Grim Reaper is hard. Like, look at him.
Yeah, I remember when before I started reading the Discworld novels, one of the descriptions that always stuck with me was being told that it's the kind of world in which the Grim Reaper's more likely to be found propping up a bar wondering why people don't like him.
Yeah. And yeah,
something about that always stuck with me.
Yeah, it's a thankless job, especially when you have other powerful entities operating things in the world. You're just the dude that has to process people's souls to go to the right place.
A dirty job, but someone's gotta do it.
Yep. And yeah, pretty much nailed it on the head, Grunt. You listen to old dev commentary from like people that worked on this game. That is exactly the whole reason why they had to add that shit. Because Nintendo testers basically playing the game in ways that they did not expect, and they were like, "Alright, fine, you fucking pricks, we'll go back and fix it." Testers basically exist to make their lives hell.
Some of the stories about when they were testing the Grand Theft Auto games are amazing.
Oh,
yeah. I can't remember if it was San Andreas or Vice City, but at one point the devs just left the game running overnight, or the testers left the game running overnight just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
At one point, they threw a PS2 out of a window just to see what would happen. And they were like, "No, you can't do that."
It's like the leaving it on overnight is like this obviously isn't something that I just have only heard in context to this game. This is literally how Nintendo does things. They always have a test that specifically, I think, only seems to happen with like the Japanese testers specifically, where they always have a specific test in which the game has to run for 24 hours. Like, powered on, non-stop. And that also led to a story with this game where they had like a cutscene bug that happened at like hour 23 and 30 minutes. You can imagine how fucking demoralizing that would be to kind of hear that come back from the people with like that much time delay, like pre-broadband internet, like separate divisions across countries, and it's just like, God fucking damn it.
Where you have to send the EPROMs by courier, and that takes about a week.
Jesus, yeah. Like, but at the end of the day, like, God bless them for doing things this way, especially during this time. Kind of wish they still kept up those standards, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the 24-hour test I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I'd heard was actually inspired by IKEA, of all people.
Really?
Because when they're designing new furniture, they have to put it through all sorts of stress tests to see, how long is it going to stand up to repeated use? Is it going to stand up to someone sitting on it day and night? And one of the things they do, a lot of the tests they'll do the weight of someone getting up and sitting down on a chair.
Yeah.
And they'll do that for like 24 hours straight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, like, some of the tests they do, you think that's kind of stupid, but then you realize they're essentially putting like 5 or 10 years worth of strain onto a piece of furniture in the space of like 3 days. So it sounds silly, but it makes perfect sense if you think about it.
It absolutely does. Just one last thing to send off the stream, because we all know how like the game recognizes when you put swear words into the cheats menu.
Yes, we found this out last week.
Yep.
Charming.
Yeah, that seems to be his default response unless you use cunt, at which point he actually starts to sound offended. Like, oh, that was mean.
See ya.
All right. Yep. We'll see you all next week. Although before then, I swear to fucking God, the rest of this week I will get back to streaming Mario Galaxy 2. I am not abandoning that game. For God's sake, please believe me. Like, it is no longer uncomfortable. It is no longer uncomfortable to sit in my room during the evenings now that the temperature is cooled off by like a good 10 to 15 degrees. So now it's like, I'm going to make up for shit by just streaming as many days as I can in between now and next Wednesday.
And that is our promise to you.
My promise. You don't have to do anything, thankfully.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm going to do other streams. I'm going to sit and pet a cat. I'm going to eat some ice cream,
Fuck yeah, ice cream. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And thanks to everyone again for joining, especially new people, Venomous. It was very nice to have another fellow Conker fan in here.
And another fellow Scotsman or woman.
Yeah.
Or other. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like my life is continues to be enriched the more I become acquainted with other Scotsmen.
Scotlandians,
correct. Yes, there are women there as well, and they're also fantastic.
We have at least 3. I know 2 of them.
Excellent. Yes. So, until then, you all have a good rest of your day/evening.
Later.
Peace.